My name is Maite Nazario, and I am an artist and an activist. I make art about immigration and social rights in general. And I am a Latinx, queer, Latina that is currently based in Atlanta. So I was originally born in Guatemala, and most of my childhood was spent there. I lived there until I was 9. So that's where I really fell in love with art, because my abuela, she had a preschool, and she would let me take art classes with the kids who were in the preschool, even though I was way younger than them. So from as long as I can remember, I've always been drawing and painting. Also, Guatemala is a beautiful country full of color and trees and volcanoes and nature. Also, the traditional outfits we wear and our clothes and the textiles that we wear are super colorful and full of life and nature. So I feel like that's influenced a lot of my art nowadays and how I paint, because I want to incorporate that part of my life and my culture into my paintings. After living there for 9 years, I moved to Puerto Rico, and that's where my dad is from, so that's half of my identity. I'm half Guatemalan, half Puerto Rican, and I lived there for 5 years. And I really love my Puerto Rican culture. We're full of life. We like drinking, dancing, salsa, bachata, merengue. So a lot of those things have influenced who I am today and how I make art, and why I'm able to stand up for the things that I stand up for, because my culture has always taught me to be myself and to be loud and proud about who I am as a Latina woman. So all my life, I've been an immigrant. Again, I moved from Guatemala at a very young age, so my middle school experience was really as an immigrant, because even though Guatemala and Puerto Rico are both Latin countries, they're very different culturally. Latin America and the Caribbean are completely different, so I felt really out of place. And my classmates let me know that I was really out of place also, which was a lot for middle school, and is something that I've kind of become comfortable with, just moving around. Most people are comfortable staying in one place all their life. My comfort zone is always being in different places, and I feel like that's why I'm so used to adapting to different cultures and learning different things, because I'm just always in changing environments and learning more about different types of people. So immigration is a huge part of who I am and a huge part of my journey. So I really started, I started painting when I was extremely young. As far back as I can remember, I was always drawing, and it was always encouraged by my family for me to have that artistic ability, and it was just something I always felt safe in. Again, since I moved so much in my life, it's just the one thing that never changed, so I took kind of safety in that. It was my safe space to always draw. I would always have a sketchbook with me everywhere I went. It was something that was constantly a part of my life. So when I moved here, and I kind of realized it was a really big culture shock for me, because I never thought of myself as a Latina woman. I just thought of myself as Maite. And then coming here and having all that, art is how I dealt with it, kind of self-therapy. My art is kind of what I've used to help me cope through life. So it's not only how I found it, but it's just become an essential part of who I am as a person. I've become more involved with LGBT activism right now, because there's a lot of laws that are going against LGBT rights, especially in the workplace right now. And it's a big part of my life and my community. So I feel like right now it's a time where it's important to stand up for LGBT lives, trans lives specifically, and just really hit the nail on the head, because not enough people are being blunt enough to talk about what the issues are in the LGBT community, because it's so taboo to talk about it. People don't want to talk about gay people having sex and safe sex for gay people. That's not something that's taught in school. And young queer teenagers, they're never going to know how to have safe sex and protect themselves, because it's something that it's seen as political, even though it's just health for these teens that are just going to be misinformed about their entire sexuality. Well, I think that the main reason why art is so important and for political issues to be represented in art is because, so you don't have to speak English or Spanish to be able to understand art. You look at it and it makes you feel something. So the beauty of political art is that you can preach a message of acceptance, of equality, of love, through an image that can move people. telling these stories of immigrants, of people of color, of people of the LGBT community in itself is empowering and makes a difference, because we don't see ourselves represented in the media in a positive light, and we don't see our stories being told. So when you tell someone's story and you give them relevance and you give them a platform, it empowers them. So even if it's not changing the world in an immense way, it's doing enough to empower people and to let them know that they're here and they're heard and they matter. I would love to see a shift in the way that the narrative is based when we talk about immigration. I think that mainly when we hear about immigrants in the news, it's talked about as in, oh, these immigrants are coming into America, what are we going to do with them? Are we going to accept them, or are we going to kick them out? But we never talk about, who are these people? What are their stories? Why are they here? Why are they coming into this country in the first place? So if we allow these people to tell their stories, to explain the hardships that they've went through in their country, the constant violence and injustice that they had to endure, and the huge, just immense courage it takes to come over here and leave everything behind, I feel like people will start to really understand and shift the way that they think about immigration and see it in a way where they can relate to the stories, they can relate to their mother stories, like they can see how their family could have been in that same situation. So I would love to see not only a political change in how immigration is seen, but also on how we talk about it. Personally, I would love to push my art forward and continue this narrative of putting immigrant stories in the media, trying to push them in a public way, which is a way of activism, because for us, our existence is resistance. Like, there's no way that we can live a life where we're not constantly resisting against the power that is in place. I see myself doing murals, big murals, telling the stories of my people, telling the stories of people from different countries, telling the history, the rich history that there is of immigration in this country, the rich history of Native American people before immigration began into this country, and how America was built. So I would love to tell the story of how immigrants played a part in that through murals, through political propaganda, through advertising. So I see myself doing murals and continuing to promote equality through my art. Yeah, that's my story.